the FBI is corrupt.
Today we're learning new information about the FBI's fight against domestic terrorism. There are new whistleblower documents that peel back the curtain a little bit to show us how the agency might identify people who they consider to be violent extremists. The documents just released and obtained by Project Veritas show symbols that the FBI associates with domestic terrorism. They also mention the Second Amendment, the Revolutionary War, the Betsy Ross flag. That's one of them. It does mention in that document that these are not to be considered evidence, but is this how they're really going to try to identify domestic terrorists? We'll see. Let's welcome in now
Senator, no one's been more aggressive on the Hunter Biden laptop situation than you and Senator Grassley. We're now hearing that there are whistleblowers coming forward saying that the FBI and the DOJ illegally suppressed that information that we now know, I mean, really was a major factor, could have actually changed the election back in 2020. What's going on? What are you going to do about it?
Well, first of all, thank God for those whistleblowers. We need a whole lot more of them in the FBI, Department of Justice, and our federal health agencies. They need to come forward and start talking to us. But no, listen, I'm not shocked, but it's outrageous that the FBI would be tipping the scales of justice the way they're doing. I have no faith in Christopher Wray of conducting this investigation. But it's important the American public understand the FBI had Hunter Biden's laptop in December of 2019. They certainly saw the evidence of what I think is criminal activity on that laptop. They've done nothing. Here we are in end of July, early August of 2022. What have they done with it? So no, you can't trust this Department of Justice and FBI to get to the bottom of this.
Senator, I don't want to move on.
So we know the FBI and the DOJ is political. It's very clear. Recently, whistleblowers have exposed that to Senator Grassley, who used to be the lead chair with the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, and Jim Jordan of the House of Representatives. Multiple whistleblowers confirmed that these cases are being led around to go in a specific direction. We all know what that direction is. They're purging conservatives. The lead on the whole Russiagate, that guy is in charge of basically weaponizing these investigations. He's the one that weaponized investigations against Trump. And they've been proven now that they're working to propagandize the Hunter Biden laptop. They were ordered to completely close the cases on the Hunter Biden information. And it goes deep because they have performance metrics that they have to declare a certain number of domestic violent extremism cases, which we all know what that means. That's the teachers complaining at school board meetings. And they have to use these metrics to get promotions, to meet goals, and basically pump up the numbers so when they go to Congress they can say, yeah, the number of domestic violent extremism cases has doubled since the 2020 election. And it's no wonder, that coincides with all the January 6th stuff. We gotta look out for these Republicans. Gotta look out for these domestic violent extremists. These are the parents at school board meetings. These are the Trump supporters. These are the people that fly the "Don't Tread on Me" flags. Those are all red flags for the FBI to investigate. And all the while, these same people that serve in the military that fly these flags and believe these beliefs are being eliminated. They're potentially dangerous people in the military that have dangerous views. And, it shocks me that former disgraced FBI and intelligence community heads, they are the ones on the mainstream media. They've been guilty of crimes. They've never been prosecuted. Comey lied under oath. He leaked to the media. He broke the law. And Trump went through what he did because he fired Comey. And now you see Peter Strzok's wife is with the SEC. She's looking into Truth Social. She's making sure she investigates that. James Comey's daughter is the lead prosecutor in was the lead prosecutor in the Ghislaine Maxwell case. She's the one that sealed all the info on who all the parties were that were involved with that. Those records are sealed. That's James Comey's daughter. Chris Wray, he's speaking right now before Congress. He's apparently Grassley and all these people were I was just watching, they were talking to him. They didn't know that he was leaving at 1:30. They don't get to ask their side of the questions. He's got to get out of there. He's got a plane to catch. He's got somewhere to be. After all, it's the third or fourth time he's been there in 3 years to answer questions about the FBI, but he seems to be oblivious. He's not looking into this. He's not firing people that are responsible for serious violations of ethics at the FBI. Hunter Biden's laptop. Hunter Biden has confirmed crimes. Not just crimes and stuff that are monetary, but with the gun that he threw in a dumpster that was right near a school. A gun that he got by filling out paperwork saying that he wasn't using drugs, and he was, so he lied on a federal form to get a firearm. All this is being downplayed to affect elections, to affect the 2020 election, and I assume the 2022 election, because after that maybe they'll say, oh, well, now it's time to investigate. But we need to get the Republicans in there in the House and Senate. By January of next year, there needs to be investigations into all of this. Joint bank accounts. He was investigated for financial crimes. The case is ordered to be closed. Joe Biden has a joint bank account with his son, has had joint bank accounts with his son accused of financial crimes. This demands an independent counsel by Republicans in January, both on Hunter and Joe and all these other characters that are, political actors in the intelligence community and the FBI. Lastly, I'm going to talk about something that's very important. We always expect that body cameras are very important with our law enforcement. We want our cops to wear body cameras. We want them to wear them and have them recording all the time. There's a big outcry for that. I'm a big supporter of that. If you got nothing to hide, have a camera rolling. Obviously, you'd want to, block out some stuff that's personal to the officer. You don't want to have it recording while they're in the bathroom or someplace they shouldn't be, or listening to something that's not fair for the public to have, a person's social security number and things like that they ask of people, or they're looking at a driver's license and you have to show that on camera. We can have the footage and show the key points of what an officer has done and been involved in without having to reveal information that shouldn't be out there. The FBI does not record interrogations. Law enforcement officers record with body cams when they do interviews or interrogations. Interviews would be like, hey, what happened with this crime? You were a witness. Tell me what you know. Interrogations are you suspect a person's guilty of a crime and you've read them their rights and you're asking them to give you details. Now, we know that, there's a right to privacy and all that other stuff, except at the time when you talk to a law enforcement officer. These are the kind of things that you bring up in court. You show the person confessed by playing the recording from the interrogation room in court. You also take that video and you use it to write your report to make sure it's accurate. You say, what did that person exactly say? And you could even put it in quotes, because you can re-watch the footage later and say, the person said exactly this, and you put it in quotes. And you can have a series of events of what took place in that interrogation in order that you can put in your report. Makes it very easy to write that kind of information after the fact. But what else does a camera do? Provides that there's no proof. There's proof that you did not coerce that person. It provides that you didn't go in there and beat that person. That you didn't say, look, if you don't tell me what happened with this, I'm going to charge you with this. Or any of that stuff. And I'm not saying that officers can't lie to a person. They can't go in there and go, oh yeah, your buddy just confessed to it, but he said it's all you and you're going to take the fall for it. You better tell us your side. And you lie to the person, and then you go back to the other person and say, well, he just told us that you did it and that you're the one responsible, and he's laying all the blame on you, and we're going to let the judge know he cooperated and you didn't. And then both people start talking against the other and confess their part in the crime, and then you're able to figure out the story. But that's not coercion. Coercion is having those interviews that are 24 hours long, and you got these little veiled threats in there where you say, if you don't do this, I'm going to do this to you. And when you have videotape, that's proof that that coercion didn't take place. It's proof of what was actually said and what was done. And then the court can judge if the officer was acting appropriately and if that person deserves conviction for what they said and did. Now, that helps with your memory. If you don't have that, like the FBI doesn't, and they don't record their interrogations, then there's no proof of what was actually said. Worse is they're not subject to refreshing their memory with that footage, and they will go and write these reports later, sometimes months later. If not, typically it's within a few days they write their report on what their interrogation led to, and they can say, this is what I feel the person said to me. Oh, they confessed. They hemmed and hawed and they were close to it, but I feel they confessed. So you put in there, oh, this person confessed to me when I interrogated them. Because I, FBI agent, have a perfect memory. I know exactly what was said, and I'm going to now write it in my report that I'm writing, a few days later. I remember all the events exactly. And we're putting this incredible power in an FBI officer's hands. And it's even incredibly easy for them just to get it wrong, to get their statements wrong. And that's an incredible problem in my eyes. It makes the FBI look very unprofessional. It means that they don't care about the process and procedures. We want our cops to wear body cams, but we're okay with the FBI not recording interrogations, not recording things like that. Even a tape of voices. It's maddening that the FBI can get away with that and write a report later when their memory is not fresh. And it's no wonder they have a huge success rate. People plead to charges with the FBI, files charges against them. They win a lot. They're able to bypass what I think is kind of a double jeopardy. You can get charged with a crime in state courts and things like that, and then the next thing you know, the FBI can charge you. You could be acquitted for a crime, and then the FBI comes along and says, nope, we're going to charge you federally, and now you're going to go to jail for that. It makes no sense that a person would be subject to both the feds and local charges, and how is that not a double jeopardy? How is that not an incredible responsibility by the FBI? How is that not a misuse of power and process? Let me turn you to something else. This is the FBI that's investigating January 6th and Hunter Biden, all these kind of things.
The mob that stormed the Capitol on January 6th to try to stop Congress from carrying out its constitutional responsibilities were behaving like domestic enemies of our country. But let's be clear. The John Brennans, Adam Schiffs, and the oligarchs in big tech who are trying to undermine our constitutionally protected rights and turn our country into a police state with KGB-style surveillance are also domestic enemies, and much more powerful and therefore dangerous than the mob that stormed the Capitol. Now, John Brennan said,
So I know looking forward that the members of the Biden team who have been nominated or have been appointed are now moving in laser-like fashion to try to uncover as much as they can about what looks very similar to insurgency movements that we've seen overseas, where they germinate in different parts of the country and they gain strength, and it brings together an unholy alliance frequently of religious extremists, authoritarians, fascists, bigots, racists, nativists, even libertarians.
even libertarians. Wow. I cannot believe that he even just said that. But here's a former intelligence official. I believe he's a communist, self-proclaimed communist. But anyway, any way you look at this, these are the people that led intelligence agencies. They leave, they go to mainstream media where they can propagandize whatever. But you're basically talking about, they're making it no secret that the FBI is targeting parents, at these school board meetings that don't like critical race theory. They're targeting people that fly a flag that has "Don't tread on me" on it. And the power that they have and their family members have working in these positions of power is disgusting. It's scary. And there was a change that was made under Trump where he started putting 50,000 bureaucrats that make policy positions under Schedule F employees. And if we don't bring him back, or somebody doesn't get elected that can fire all these people, we're in for a world of hurt.